Hello and welcome to this quick tip entitled, Are You a Bridge Builder? This is the second in a series that's based on Chapter 20 from the ASTD Handbook of Measuring and Evaluating Training. This is Wendy Kirkpatrick, and I'm back with my husband and business partner Jim Kirkpatrick to talk to you about this topic. Now, in last week's quick tip, we talked about some ideas for making your Level 1 and Level 2 evaluations more impactful and more focused on business value. This week, what we're going to talk about is what we think can be a fairly game-changing tip. I'm going to start by reading an excerpt from Chapter 20 of the book that we just referenced, which is on page 266. A historic problem with training evaluation is that trainers too often define results at Kirkpatrick levels 1 and 2. Level 1 reaction sheets and Level 2 pre- and post-test results may tell a lot about the delivery of programs, but they're not a measure of value to the business. Data and information must be gathered at high levels of evaluation, Kirkpatrick levels 3 and 4, to show business value and justify training budgets. As you've learned in previous chapters, if you wait until after a training event is over to determine what data to collect, you have compromised your ability to not only measure the value of the program you have delivered, but to create value in the first place. You must build your evaluation plan into the design and development of your programs. Also, make sure that facilitators and trainers inform participants how evaluation will take place after the training. Participants will be more comfortable because they'll be expecting the reinforcing, monitoring, measuring, and encouraging activities when they're back on the job. It also supports learning because if training participants know there will be accountability for what they have learned, they're more likely to stay engaged during class. Well, a whole lot was said there in 2 paragraphs, Jim. I'm going to turn it over to you now to discuss this in a little more detail and give our listeners some practical ideas for how they can be bridge builders and get from levels 1 and 2 to levels 3 and 4.
Thanks, Wendy. One of the problems with the implementation of the 4 levels over the decades has been that it's been operationalized as 4 separate buckets. We do level 1, then 2, then 3, and 4. We have found over the last at least five years that the power is in connecting the levels, not in isolating them. And so this quick tip has to do with how do we connect the levels. Let's particularly look at levels 1 and 2. As we mentioned before, these should not just be about satisfaction, even just relevance or engagement. Part of what we encourage people to do with their level 1/level 2 hybrid evaluation methods is to help the learner see the future, help them anticipate the future, and help uncover what the potential barriers and success factors may be in applying and creating impact. We call those predictive level 3, level 4 questions, and they include such things as what do you plan to apply? What kind of barriers do you anticipate to your success? What kind of additional help will you require? And even what kind of initial impact do you think you will see as a result of your efforts? Answers to those questions will give you data that is truly actionable beyond smile sheets. It's important that we connect level 2 and level 3, making sure that people apply what they learned. Wendy, that's why we wrote the book Transferring Learning to Behavior, because there's such a gap between formal training and on-the-job application. If you ask those kind of questions, either in survey forums, open-ended questions, focus groups, and you find out that people are saying, for instance, that they lack the confidence to apply, or they don't know what they're expected to do back on the job, or they lack the support or accountability to be successful, or they don't even see the possibility of what they are supposed to do and what they can accomplish. These are all operational questions. These are all issues that you need to address, and some of the things that you can do to help build this bridge between level 2 and level 3 is to help them understand what the future can be for them, what their expectations should be and can be, what kind of support and accountability and ongoing learning opportunities will be available to them, what kind of documentation, accountability, and support will be there. All these kind of things are actionable and things that answer the question, now what? Because when you uncover data that tells you that there is a weakness in the bridge between level 2 and level 3, we encourage you to take some of these actions to strengthen that bridge so people can successfully make the connection between level 2 and level 3 on their journey to level 4. Next week, I know Wendy is going to mention a couple of things after I close here, but we want you to give thought to a question: what's the difference between wiping countertops and cleaning countertops? Wendy?
Okay, now I'm chuckling. As Jim travels around the world delivering keynotes and facilitating for groups, sometimes I wonder what he talks about because he's a big storyteller. I think this issue of countertops will give me some insight into how sometimes the things we do on a daily basis he sees through the filter of the 4 levels. So I can hardly wait for the next quick tip myself. Now, we hope that you've enjoyed this one, and you also can't wait to hear the next one. If that is the case, make sure you're registered with us and you'll get the quick tips delivered to your inbox every Wednesday. Just go to kirkpatrickpartners.com and on the homepage, click on the register link and you'll have these things on the way to you. On the website, you'll also be able to access the complete library of quick tips under the blog tab. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.